Welcome, guys. Okay, so after we describe what's the group and what's the subgroup, and introduce a lot of examples, so now we are trying to do the next topic, basically the classification of the group or the finite group. Okay, so to do this, we need to have various different tools, and the simplest one is very important is the coset and quotient group. So from now on, that the topic will be fairly complicated or not just a little bit abstract, and and I will not talk about examples. So yeah, so you need to just look at the textbook. Okay, so settings that H is a subgroup of G, and left coset of H is a subset of the form AH for some A in G. Okay, so simply speaking, what do we mean by left coset? You just take any element in G, and you just use A and times H from left hand side. So AH is just AH for every H in H. Okay, and this is called left coset. So the first thing is the number of AH is the same as H, because there's no any elements happen twice, because if AH1 equals to AH2, then since A has inverse, right, so H1 must equals to H2. Okay, so AH has the same cardinality of H. So you can view this is H. If I times A1H, then it becomes another A1H. When I times A2H, when I times A2, then it becomes maybe A2H. But sometimes when I times A3, maybe they become the same. Maybe A2H equals A3H. Okay, so there will be maybe some repetition. Okay, so claim, this is the very important. You need to first understand this proof. So they form a partition. Where G is a disjoint union of A1. I use this bracket to AIH. So what this means is that this AI is a representative, and this is disjoint union. Okay, so what I want to say is that I can draw a picture. This is group G, and this is H, and this is A1, maybe A1H. This is A2H, up to something, maybe AKH. So sometimes there will be different. Maybe A1H is the same as B1H for some B1. But the most important thing is that there's no overlap between all of this set. Okay, so the whole group G can be represented as a H union with the A1H, but now you have many choose of you have many choice of A1, right? So you can pick a particular representative in this coset, and particular representative in this coset, and particular representative for another coset. Okay, so to prove this picture, all we need to prove is the following. We want to say that if AH and BH has one common element, then as a set, AH will become a BH. So meaning that if these elements and these elements, if there's two elements are the same, then these two will merge into one coset. Will actually be the one coset. So proof. So let's say AX equals to BY, where X in H, Y in H. So this implies that AH as a set, can be written as BY X inverse H. But H is a group, a subgroup, so this guy in H. So we have BH times H. And if because H is a subgroup, right? So when you times every element twice, in this h, if you just use h to multiply itself, then it becomes the same as h. So this is bh. So ah equals to bh. Okay, so this proves these results because there's no overlap. Right? We prove that if there's overlap, that indeed there are the same coset. So there's no overlap. So the G can be represented as a disjoint union. Okay, so from here, then we can introduce the first first group theory theorem. Very simple, called Lagrange's theorem. So we claim that when H is a subgroup of G, and if G are finite, then the number of elements in H divides G. So meaning that G is always divisible by the number of elements in H. For example, if G has 6 elements, then H can only, there's no subgroup of 4 elements. Okay, and this is notation. G comma H is defined to be the number of left coset. And by definition, it would be H divided by H, G divided by H, right? Because this is H, and the size of it is H. So you just separate G into different small parts of H. So obviously that the number of G will be multiplication of H. So number of coset will be the number of G divided by H. Okay, so this is the definition. Maybe we work on one example. Let's try the very simple example. So I consider G to be S3. So it's identity 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay, so this is G. I'll consider H to be, let's say, 1 and 1, 2. So this is a subgroup because 1, 2 square is identity. 1, 2 square is identity. This is 1. Okay, so I can compute left coset, G quotient H. So now you have 6 1, right, and 2 1. So you should break into 3 parts. So the first part will be H, right? Union something. So let's try it. I could use 1 3 times H. So I get 1 3. And when I use 1 3 times 1 2, then 1 goes to 2. And 2 goes to 1, and 1 goes to 1 to 3. So this is 1 to 3. And now let me use 2 3 and times this one. So I get 2 3, and 2 3 times 1 2. So 1 to 2. Yeah, so 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Right, so 1 to 3, and 3 to 2. So it's 1 3 2. Okay, so you can see that this G can be represented of H union 1 3 H union 2 3 H. So indeed, this all 6 elements happens in this happen in this G, because this is 1 and 1 2, and 1 3 1 2 3, and the 2 3 1 3 2. Okay, so this is the example of the coset. Yeah, maybe we can do another example. If G is an integer and H is a 2 times integer, so basically it's all even number, and under the addition. So we can ask what's about G quotient H. So this will be very simple, right? So this will be, oh sorry, not quotient H. So I should say one can write G in terms of integer, 2 times integer, disjoint union something, right? This is Z. So this is trivial. This one should be all odd integer. And indeed that if you take any elements, you add any element, let's say 1 plus H, then this becomes all the odd integer. So actually this is just 1 plus H. Okay, so this G break into H, and it's disjoint union. One is even number, and one is odd number by using this 1 plus H. As you can say, oh, maybe I use 2 plus H, but 2 plus H is the same as every even number. If I use 3 plus H, then I get odd integer. Okay, so this is trivial examples. Okay, so next time we will talk about the most important, the key concept in this group theory. Finite group theory basically is called normal subgroup.